Hello everybody, and welcome to Heart of a Hobbit here on the Twitch Lotro stream team channel. It's the official Lotro channel on Twitch here. So we are running around here on Treebeard, which is a legendary server. Hey, just right. Good to see you there in the chat. Awesome. Thanks for coming along. So today we're going to do some bingo boffin. But before I get started on that, what I want to do is minimize that. I want to go ahead and do some task board stuff. And the reason why I'm doing that is this. Whoops, did I do something wrong? There we go. There it is. This is the legendary item reward track. And this is the third iteration of this track. So they've done this 2 previous times, and each time they tweak it so there's a little bit different stuff happening. Most of what you get in here is good for your legendary items. Like, it'll be enhancement runes that you can use to upgrade the slots that your stuff sits in, or traceries, which are the things themselves that you put in those slots. Ancient script, which is the currency that you use to buy these traceries if you don't find them other ways. But every so often, like 25? Yes, 25. Ooh, I have it. Is something different. So this time it is a housing item, and it's a pot and skillet item that you can set around your house. Let's see, 40 or 45. Oh yeah, 40. Incomparable coffer of craft. So that is a recipe. And I don't know if it is a Gundabad level recipe, which means we won't be able to use it here on Treebeard for a long time, or if it scales to the level of where you are. So we'll find out eventually. So, and what else? Level 50 is a cosmetic quiver, and so on. So the reason why I'm doing tasks is, okay, so you see we're here, like partway through level 29. And over here on the task board, well, let me see. I'm doing creepy filth, I think, right? Okay, so creepy filth. Okay, so you'll notice that if I do this quest, this task quest, it gives me legendary item experience. So I'm going to accept that. And I'm going to do 2 of them because there's one for the miners and one for the guards. This is the Moria folks. And then I turn it in, and we're going to watch my little bar creep up. And boom, just a little bit, but hey, every little bit helps. So if I do 10 of these a day, you see how it did go up a decent amount there. So, so that's my plan here, is to keep plugging away at that. So I thought, well, while I'm here, let me do that. Okay, and all right, so we'll go ahead and close all that. How many more tasks can I do? Let's see, it's on my quest log. I can do 5 more. Okay. So, creepy filth, turn it in, let's see, how many, I have 2 more. I'll just do 2 more then. And then we'll go ahead and get doing other things. Because Bingo has a whole stack of books that the elves gave him. He wanted to learn more about the elves and the history, and they're like, oh, let me give you a slight taster. Thump, 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 thump. That should get you through about 100 years of information, as it were. Hey, that was a nice looking pony you had there. All right, so, yeah, we're going to head out to, yeah, that looks good. The white with the rose color there you got going on, that looks really good. Okay, so I will also mount up. Why not? What have I? Oh yeah, I've got a nice flowery looking steed to go with my flowery outfit. So, all right, it's important. Got to always match the outfit to the mount, etc. It's the gray pony. Interesting. It has a very white sheen to it. I could see gray. Sure. All right. So let me pull up my bingoing. Oh, you know what? And I probably should go ahead, and we're not going to track my epic line because we're not going to do that right now. There we go. Ballad of Bingo Boffin, though. I do want to have that tracked. That is good. Okay. And, hang on. I'm looking at my closed captioning, and it seems like it's doing some weird thing. Let me turn it off and turn. Well, there's nothing coming across. It says too quiet.
Is your did you switch the microphone in your system settings?
There we go. Well, I don't know. Hang on a second. Do I do it here? We'll change my settings to make sure that the closed captioning is working here.
Your Windows key on your keyboard. Right click on your audio thing to go to sound settings. Or okay, you're in the settings. Go to sound.
Okay, hang on a second.
Click on the right screen somewhere.
Click on the right screen?
Click on that way. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sound.
System?
Does it say sound? I don't know.
I think I ended up somehow messing up my where it's listening to. I don't know what happened.
There are steps in the pre-stream to make sure it's the right setting.
Well, it wasn't the wrong setting, so I didn't change it.
Okay, so it says Lothlorien.
And now it does say headset with mic now.
Okay.
There's Lothlorien.
Okay.
Yay!
Close out of that.
All right, so hopefully we've got that
And
fixed
you'll
now.
need to hopefully reload this so it's coming back.
There we go. And yep,
But it's
there we go.
It's still not coming through.
It's not coming through. Oh no.
I mean, when you click that broadcast icon,
Yeah. It says OBS Studio. There's only one.
I don't know. Apparently we're going to have to dig around with this.
All right, it looks like it's supposed to be working, but it doesn't say that it's working. I'm not sure, but now it's showing up on my screen at least. So maybe the closed captioning will show up on your screen as well, if that is something that you want to use. So my apologies. So, okay, so talk about the horse. It is just horse vocabulary, as Gail has informed us. So horses are not white ever. The white coat color is called gray. Wow, look at that. Looks like the Lotro people kind of knew what they were doing. Well, that is nice that they have, I would guess, a person of horse knowledge on staff. So, well done to you. All right, so where are we going? We're going to, oh yes, so A Taste of War. That is what we're working on for bingo. And it says we need to talk to Phaelorun in northwest Lothlorien. He's beneath a flet on the northwestern edge of the Golden Wood near the border with Fanuidhall. So Bingo wants to prove that he is not afraid of orcs, and he wants us to volunteer, ourselves and Bingo, to go and fight the foes of Lorien and Fanuidhall. So what are we doing here? Yes, we have a question on the side of where are we at here? So Bingo, we ended up in Lothlorien, and he wanted to know more about, the elves. And so he got a bunch of books from the elves, and he has been reading some of these books. But he's been sitting on the bench, and he kind of overheard some conversations, and there's exciting stuff happening. So he wants in on that. So the elves began to mount an offensive on an evil stronghold in Mirkwood, and even now they are seizing footholds on the other side of the river. So he says, now, I'm not keen on participating in battles, but I do believe it is my authorial responsibility to see the inside of Mirkwood if my book is to be complete. He said, I spoke with an elf named Calengoth at the docks, but he refused my request that I be allowed to cross the river. He said he could not be responsible for my safety. Can you believe this? So he has an idea. He says, if we can prove that I'm not afraid of orcs, then Calengoth will have no choice to recognize that I deserve to cross the river. So I've heard that orcs have invaded an area in the northwest reaches of the Golden Wood, and an elf named Phaelorun needs help to combat them. So let's go volunteer and help out to show that we are not afraid of orcs. Okay, so I am going to port us. Yes, we are in a fellowship with your white gray horse. And I will port us to Lothlorien. That's Rivendell. That's the wrong one. That's Marquise. That's the other one. It shouldn't be this hard to figure out. There it is. Karis Gladden. That's where I want to go. And the web captioner says Harris Glen instead of Karis Gladden. Maybe it doesn't speak elf. A lot of subtitling programs probably don't speak Elf. It's understandable. All right, I'm guessing we need to go out.
It's still not coming.
Still not coming through.
We're gonna have to fix it in your launch channel.
Okay. We fixed it before, but apparently it didn't stick. Whatever we did didn't keep it there. So you see Bingo is still chilling out here on the bench. And he's not keen on participating in any battles, but he believes it his responsibility to go and, be a good writer and go find these things. So we need to find our way to way over here. And there is a horse, a stable master. We could take the stable master to Karen Amroth. Okay, so we'll go do that. So we're going to go across this little bridge here. I love all the little flowers and foliage. And hey, what are these two doing here? Must be part of the further adventures thing, because they weren't there before. Whee! Alright, there's a little cross country there. Where did I say we're going? Karen Amroth. That's it. Like Dole Amroth, but with more Karen. 100% more Karen. Not that kind of Karen, though. Not the annoying Karens. Well, let me see if I can wakey that back up. See if it makes a difference. Alright, and in the meantime, we mount up. And we are going this way, I think. Such sweeping music through here. It's fun. It's always fun. Well, I want to get up on top of over there. I don't remember how to do it. Maybe I just go around this way. Maybe this is it. Let's see. I'll open that back up. See if anything happens. Oh wow, we've got red dots on the map. I guess I'll need to be a little more careful. They can see us. Alright, well I have closed the capture and reopened it just in case that makes it work. And I apologize if there's anybody who is hoping to use the captions and not having it work. Oh, this isn't the right place. Hey, but I can pick up some branches while I'm here, I guess. Okay, let's try this way. Avoiding the tuskers and the other scary things. Hey, but there's more branches. Oh no, lions and tigers and bears. But hey, branches. Khazad-skarn. It's like Khazad-dûm, but comes out of the ground. Okay, here's our guy. Hey, there's a Bingo. Hey, Bingo. What up, yo? He says, this is Phaleron. Tell him I'm not afraid of orcs, and I would love to prove it to him. Alright, well, let's see what we can do here. He says, you are the companion of Bingo Buffin. He's an amusing fellow and insists he is not afraid of orcs. He asked me to write this note granting him permission to fight our foes, and I have complied, though on some level I must doubt whether this is wise. So here is the parchment. May it put his mind at rest, and if you will fight the orcs in Fanudwal to the north, this simple act of script may prove worth the time and the ink. Alright, so we're going to go defeat some orcs, though, just to kind of like really seal the deal here. Alright, so we'll just pop up in this direction. Oh, you might want to mount up on your gray horse. So does that mean that, what's his name? Shadowfax is a gray horse? I think I took the long way to go where we're trying to go. Indeed I did. Hey, I found an orc. He was hiding in the grass. And then I walked on top of him. Well, technically rode, I think. Yay! We defeated an orc in this crazy place. Oh. Here's another one. He's a scout. He scouted me. I always find it funny watching the, like the archers of other races doing the same things that I do, like Heartseeker. No, he wasn't doing a Heartseeker. He was doing a rain of arrows. He was about to. Like, it was induction. I'm like, I know that induction. Let me see if I can undo that from you. I don't see any more. There we go. We'll get one on the tracker. Make it easier to find them. Well, okay, we're going the other way. Yeah, that's so funny. You would think there'd be a bunch of them right here. We do think there's a bunch of them right here. Cool. Oh, hey, I see another one. A hurler. Oops, I shot the squirrel. Sorry. Sorry, little squirrel, I didn't mean it. Well, maybe he was about to be an orc dinner, so, you know, he saved his life from misery? I don't know. That doesn't sound any better, really. That's true. Maybe it was one of those squirrels that's plotting to take over the world, and I've just saved us. I didn't check if he was a red squirrel or... I forget which squirrel is which. Gray squirrel. But they definitely have opinions. Because it's Garn. Okay, that is 8 orcs for us. Let's ride on out here. Doop-a-doop-doo. Almost started singing shoop. Shoop-a-doop-a-doo. Doop-a-doop. Shoop-a-doop. It's only funny to me and some of the people watching because in our Discord we were talking about songs and that came up. So so we've been sharing videos of Shoop, including the original by Salt and Peppa, and then also like a remake that was done by Postmodern Jukebox. That was it. I mean, I liked it. It was a well done song, but it wasn't like the same song to me. Like it has a totally different sound. So it's not like an interpretation of the song. It's like this is a different song. That's how it felt to me. So it was good, but I like the original better. But I'll come back to that in a second. Hang on. Okay, so he says, well done. I am pleased that you have returned from your campaign against the orcs in good health and with victory. It seems you did not really need my permission at all, but I'm glad to have granted it all the same. All right, so Bingo's got something up his sleeve, I think. It's not just a piece of paper.
Did you notice?
So he says, we did it, and and we made certain the orcs that threaten the Golden Wood know it to be well defended by adventuring types such as ourselves. And then he lowers his voice conspiratorially. Did you notice the note that he wrote for us says that we have permission to engage with the enemies of Lothlorien, but it does not specify where those enemies are to be found. Let's bring that parchment to Calangloth at the docks, and he'll have no choice but to bring me across into Mirkwood. Little stinker. Okay, well, why don't I take us back to Karis Gladden? Okay. But this also led itself to a... Oh, sorry. Weirilo mentions about the horses again. It's possible, headcanon here, that the Miras, is that how you pronounce them? The Miras? What Shadowfax is, what kind of a horse he is, may have had white coats, and no horse in those days. Do you need me to take us back? No. Okay. He fell down. He's down in the valley-o. Maris. Mayaris. May have had white coats, and no horse in these days has a coat white enough to compare. So that's why our white horses are called gray. I could buy that. Oh, where are we going? Let's see. Vineyards of Lothlorien. That sounds like a good idea, because it's close by the docks. Oh, so anyway, the thing about the songs and stuff, it led me to a thought that, like, when you know a song, and when you hear it a bunch of times, like on the radio or whatever, or you play it at home, that for me that becomes like the song. And if somebody tries to make a different version of that song, I usually don't like it as much because it's not the song as I know it, as what I'm used to. So we need to go this way, says my map. Yeah, where are you going? Take it to the bridge. Oh, yeah, that seems like a smart move. Rather than trying to just, like, float across. I mean, we can, but yeah, probably better to do it this way. Oh, yeah, here's the docks. That's easy here. Yes, here's it, this one. Hi, Calangloth. Board the boat if you're ready to cross Anduin. Well, we gotta have a chat first. He said, well, I'm sorry, but I told your friend that the Golden Host is beginning a dangerous assault, and I will not be responsible for his well-being. He would be better served remaining behind and writing in relative safety. What is this? And you hand him the note, and he looks at it with surprise. Well, I cannot say I agree with Fealorn's assessment, but this parchment does relieve me of any responsibility should anything happen to Bingo within the forest. I will no longer prevent him from crossing into Mirkwood, but know that you will need to survive the landing and do as the Golden Host commands before Bingo will be free to explore. So, we have to gain access to Mirkwood by completing Book 9 Forward the Dark Shore and speaking to Callum Gloth and completing his quest chain through Hilltop Assault, which is basically like an instanced version of the landing of Mirkwood area. We've done that, so we're past that. So we've already gotten there. We've done all the things we need to do, and so Bingo's like scurrying along, and he has jetted himself off to the Haunted Inn. As a good little hobbit. Are you taking the boat? What? No? Okay. I believe we both have milestones to the Haunted Inn. Yeah, there it is. So we'll just do that. We'll just travel straight there. So yeah, so what you have to do when you want to do the landing at Mirkwood is it's almost like starting the game, when you started the game, how you had to do like, you know, the starter area, and it's like a shared instance where you and all the new people are there together, but once you're done with that, it you know, bumps you back out into the rest of the world. So that's kind of what happens when you land at Mirkwood, is you've got that kind of a scenario where it's you and anybody else who's brand new to landing at Mirkwood, and you go and you do that, and you're all running around, and you get to learn the area of the first. Let's see, let me scoot out to the Mirkwood map. See, is that Ravanian? Mirkwood. There we go. So this is like the map of all of Mirkwood, and this is technically like southern Mirkwood. There's more Mirk above. So yeah, I mean, like this is where we are, is southern Mirkwood. There's more above, and in fact, if that's Dol Guldur, we're really in this area, because Dol Guldur is on the far edge of our map that we have right here. So there's still all of this to be explored. And Scenario hinted at that slightly when he did the most recent stroll that he does. Because he does, so for those of you who don't know, Scenario will go and do like a stroll through a certain area in the game. I'm trying to find, there's a command to give you the link to go and look at those. World? Okay, thanks. So let me put that in there. World. Cool. So yes, so Scenario basically comes and he'll take you on a tour of a very particular area, and you go wandering around, and it's kind of cool, and he'll explain like things, why the choices they made and things like that. So he was talking about how big Mirkwood is, and how really, you know, this is kind of like get you through part of it, and then later on you go into another part. But there's still more Mirkwood out there that we are not in. So okay, so so when you do the first landing, you're just over here on the left side of the map, where you're in the Mark Eves area, and you're kind of in like this brown zone. I mean, there's a lot of brown zones in here, I get it, but like this first brown zone, and you run around, you do a bunch of quests and things in that area, and then once you're finished all of that, then they send you out into the greater Mirkwood, and you're out in the world with everybody else. So that's where we are now. We're out into greater Mirkwood, greater southern Mirkwood, as it were. And here's Bingo, of course, chilling out by the fire, listening to some folks and stuff. Now that's interesting. I have +4 dread standing here. I wonder why that would be. Because it just showed up. Like, because it's haunted? No, look, if you walk away, it's not there. Step forward, it's here. It's a hint to something we discover later, I would guess. Okay, so
This is not the most
he
welcoming of
is like, oh, what excitement! The Golden Host and the Rangers have crossed into Mirkwood, and they're making their way toward a frightful-sounding stronghold in the southeast. I'm glad to have seen within the woods, but I think I will leave a survey of this Dol Guldur to the experts. Instead, I think I'll stay here by the fire and work on my book. This is not the most welcoming of taverns, but at least it is warm, and there's no big hole in the roof like in the Forsaken Inn. He says, I do wonder about the history of this place, though. This is one of the few buildings that seems to still be intact. Why not go explore the rest of the town and report back to me when you have seen the sights? And I'll be here. And now Bert Bartleby has arrived outside the Haunted Inn, so we can buy extra things from him. So Bingo wants us to go out and take a look around, so we're going to go look in the distance from the bridge by the waterfall. We're going to look closely at the Forgotten Graveyard, and we're going to look into the distance from the ruins of Oddegheim. Alright, so we'll go and do some looking around. And we've already interacted with most of the people here through our journeys. So you'll notice there aren't a lot of rings here. It's because we've already accomplished a lot of that. Hey, what's this guy have? Meladrum stuff. I always got like some gloves and things. Probably the stuff I have is probably better, I'm guessing. Oh, and one page. That's it. Boom. He's done. All right. Well, let me run outside because I'm thinking Affodil may already be out there. Yep. I was looking for the cat. I put some treats out for her just before the stream started, and she pawed at them, and then she's wandered off. I don't know where she's gone. So I was kind of hoping she might like get bored and then come sit by me. But she did not do that yet. Alright, so we're gonna look at that. Look at that Affodil looking. Let's take a look. The view is breathtaking, but the bridge feels shaky and unstable. Right as you do that, I see Before over in the background shaking his keyboard. It's like it's shaky and unstable. That was a good immersive moment. Uh-oh. Are these condemned villagers gonna attack us? They might. Well, at least I remembered to put my horseshoe away. I was running around last time. It would have been Saturday, I guess. And partway through the day, I'm like, oh, hey, I'm still wearing my horseshoe for my pocket item. Instead of something that, like, gives me, you know, I don't know, extra boosts on things. So that was kind of funny. All right, so we need to make our way over to the graveyard. And we also need to look at from roughly where we are, which is the, this is considered the ruins of the town. So I wonder if this counts. Let me see if I can look from here. Yep. The town is a burned out husk. Only the shells of buildings remain. I would agree. It's very burned out. Whoa. Check out that wolf. That's quite the wolf. You had your number. All right, so now we need to make our way down to the graveyard. We could just mount up and run. Milestone? What, to the Haunted Inn? We're going to want a milestone back up, though. We have our milestone set to a 5-minute cooldown, which is pretty fun. All right, so here we go. 2 little hobbits running through the woods in their Sunday best. Tuesday best, that's right, because it's a Tuesday. So I am wearing a shirt for the upcoming Before the Shadow expansion, by the way. Maybe I should... Oh, no, I have to look. That's right. The graveyard is ancient, and most of the stones are faded and unreadable. All right, shall we port ourselves back up to the top?
Sure.
Grisglad Haunted Inn. Yep, so we need to go back and talk to Bingo. Anyway, so there was a meet and greet with some of the SSG folks. They were in Germany, which is just next door to us because we're in the Netherlands. And so we got to go and meet some of the folks, and they had some t-shirts, some swag that they could give away. They're not allowed to sell it, but they are allowed to occasionally make some up and give it away. So that's what they were able to do. So pretty excited. So, all right, so Bingo says, your description of the areas nearby make them sound much as I expected. Tumbled down and in disrepair. Folk have not lived in this town for a very long time, and it feels to me that unhappiness lies upon it like a shroud. While you were gone, I spoke with one of the rangers, Aduyalin, and she gave me a lovely book of recipes. Perhaps I will work to bring some measure of cheer and comfort to this tavern by preparing one of the recipes from this book. Yes, that will be just the thing, but I will need to choose one to make, and that will not be an easy task. All right, so this would be finishing up that week, because when Bingo first came out, it came out week by week, and you had to wait a week for the next installment. And it's doing that here on the Treebeard server, so, but we just got behind, so we're going to be able to catch up a number of weeks all at once. Because next week is first breakfast. Hey, it's next week. First breakfast. So he says he's been leafing through the recipe book, and that was given to him by Aduyalin. See, the fact that we haven't seen this ranger's name before is somewhat suspicious, don't you think? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so he's trying to decide what meal to prepare, and he thinks he's finally settled on one. A tasty breakfast would be just the thing. I've been quite hungry ever since we came into this wood. Now, the recipe does seem to be rather exotic, but I think that'll be just perfect for our stay within Mirkwood. Calls for marshy taters, a little sage, some mint for seasoning, the meat of several crows, and choice cuts of spider? Ugh, I don't know about that one. Perhaps if the meat is prepared just right, it will not be unsuitable. I'm dubious, but let's see how this goes. I'll try to keep an open mind. After all, if I did not wish to have a new experience, I could have stayed back in the Shire. That's true. He said the author of the book must not have liked the name Mirkwood, for the descriptions always refer to Greenwood the Great. That's very quaint. It seems as if some ingredients can be found in the southern swamps. And so he's giving us directions on where to find things. So, southern swamps, scuttledells, that's probably the spiders, by the town south of Oskalad, and the tower to the east of it. So, he says, it's difficult to tell because the author refers to these places with different names than those that we know. So one reason could be because it used to be known by a whole different name, this Mirkwood. It wasn't always called Mirkwood. It was a great green wood. So, yeah. Oh, you checking to see what time they're coming? Nice. Cool. All right, so, in the next hour. Okay. We did an online grocery order. So, because... Well, I'll show you when it arrives. I can show one of the backpacks. Okay, so bingo yourself up and let's head out. Zoomy habits. I gotta make sure I don't zoom around too much myself. Makes my stomach hurt. I'm doing better. I was not feeling so good recently, but it seems like Sunday might have been the worst, and I might be doing better now, so that's good. We're gonna go where? Estelad Marniel. Okay. Affadil makes a very good director of directions. Yeah. To the Drownhold. Yeah, I appreciate Affadil being able to navigate to where we need to go next. That's very handy. So anyway, so we got these really cool shirts, and it's got like a Nazgul on the front. Let me see if I can, yeah, maybe. Also, I can hold one up because we got extras that we are to give away, which we will do. I want to make sure that when we do the giveaways, though, that we give people plenty of notice. And I don't want to be like, surprise, you know. So we won't do it today because I didn't, like, advertise it. So I would feel bad for people. And I actually haven't decided what I'm going to do. But we'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so there we go. And back. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Like the mist coming up from the feet of the horses, from their hooves, and that was really dang cool, I think. So that's yeah, that's the front of the shirt, and then the back of the shirt, it has learn to Learn how to make directions happen. There we go. It says Lord of the Rings Online, and it says Before the Shadow, and this kind of like little shadowy thing going on below. It's pretty cool. So there you go. So that's the back of the shirt. Pretty neat, huh? So pretty excited about these, and it's really nice cotton too. It's very comfy. So I like my shirt a lot. But I like you all. I will give you a shirt. I'm not going to keep them all for myself, as tempting as that is. So, I just went a different direction from you. How many taters are we picking up? 6. I guess we don't have to pick up the same 6 taters, but it is usefuler. How do you get one? So, we went to a meetup in Germany where SSG, some of the SSG folks flew over, because SSG is located in the US, and they flew over for the event, and then they had like a meet and greet with Lotro fans on the Thursday afterwards. So we live in the Netherlands, so we caught a train and went down and met some of the folks. That was really awesome. So what they did is they had a few shirts to give away. And that's what we did. So they, Cordovan hooked me up with a couple of extra shirts for me and before, and we can give them away. I know, right? It was really cool. We were very excited to be able to do that. Well, because normally throughout the years, apparently they have had, yeah, I've got my 6. I do too. Thank you. All right, so we have 6 taters. Where should we go next? Akkad Syrian. First one? This one.
It's the first location we found.
I might not still have that.
Okay. Use your hunter towel to go to Akkad Syrian.
Okay. I can go to the Mirkwood. Okay. I'm not sure where I'm going. Anyway, throughout the years, they've had gatherings in the U.S., especially in the Boston area where they're located. So if you've been able to make it to that area, you know, that's like, oh, yeah, okay, we're here. I could have taken us here. So we just happened to get lucky that we live in Europe, and this is the time that they, like, came to Europe. So that was pretty neato. So how will other people get them? Go back in time, come to Europe. No. So yeah, we have a couple of them to give away. So now it's on us to do like the shipping and everything. So my first thought was, well, we'll just do within Europe because, you know, the shipping is easier to manage and you don't have customs paperwork to do or anything like that. But I feel bad leaving out other people because, like, I don't know that anybody in the U.S. is, you know, have got a shirt to give away as well. So I don't think so. I think it might be like just us. I'm not sure who else, because I'm always like, hey, I can help out with things. And so I offered. Do I have 5? Oh, 5 things. What are we collecting? I probably do. Let's see. Yes, I have 5 out of 5 of the Crabane meat. Well, hello, Casper. Sure. One of the cats is in view. He's sleeping on a top of a backpack that ended up on the ground. All right, travel. So that's kind of funny. Okay, so let's see. Where are we going to go next? Ostgalad. Okay.
What can I do?
Oh, see, that one I have a milestone for. That's okay, I'll just do this. It's easier. So yeah, so I have to decide. And I was going to give one away this week, but I want to make sure I like put it on Twitter and, you know, and give people advance notice so that way they can like plan ahead, because I don't like to do too many, you know, I don't want that to be like an unhappy surprise. So that somebody would have missed it who would have been here otherwise, that kind of thing. So I will probably wait and do a giveaway when I do a little pre-prep. Because I wasn't feeling good this week, and it was just a busy week, and we've got schoolwork, because we're learning Dutch, and our classwork is really intensive right now, and it's a little overwhelming. So I did not get, yeah, it did not happen. But I will soon. And then I'll just have to decide if we're going to send just Europe only, because like I said, the shipping is just so much easier. Or if we'll include outside of Europe also. I'm not sure. That really comes down to me talking before into doing it, because I hate shipping things. Oh, okay. And what are we looking for out here? Oh, the Scuttledells, because we got to go find some spider meat. Yeah, that'll be tasty. Maybe not. Yes, thank you before. That's my Twitter. So if you follow, I always post on there like the day of when I'm about to stream, as a reminder, in case anybody was like, oh yeah, want to check that out. But that's where I'll also make sure to post about the giveaway and stuff, so people don't miss out who might want to be involved in that. Yeah, I feel bad that I don't have enough for everybody. Like, I wish I had enough to give one to everybody, but I don't. I think we have like 2 or 3. I think we have 3. We were just like shoving them into our bags because it was like late when everybody was leaving and stuff. Hey, there's a spider. Do you have some choice meat for me? Yay, apparently it does. It also made me stand still. That's right. There we go. That gives you time to go grit the Kazat's garden. Let's see, yes, so we need choice cuts of meats of spider from the Scuttledells. The Scuttledells is this whole big area up here, and it's a big maze, and it has layers that go up and go down, so you can see there's a bridge there, but then there's like a whole valley down there. And so making your way around here can be a little tricky, especially when you're just getting to know it. We got to a point where we were doing like every single quest in the Scuttledells at one point. And so we got pretty familiar with how to get in and find our way and get about, find our way back out and stuff like that. But it did take a little while. And is there a map on the wiki, or we've talked about it?
We have one in our map.
Oh, okay. So B4 made up a map for, no.
I wanted to do one for the wiki, but this shows all the paths.
Okay, sure. So, okay, so B4 wants to make a more detailed one for the wiki, but if you are looking, well, it doesn't really help with all the stuff on top of it. I'll show you when there's not stuff there. All right, I'm at 3 out of 4. There we go. All right, should I take us back to Mirkwood?
Yeah.
Cool, I can do that.
Yeah, actually, let's do the milestone bit and then
To where?
Oskalad.
Oskalad. Okay. Oskalad. Okay, so yeah, so if you're looking at the Scuttledells, you see the roads are all there. It just doesn't indicate if they're high or if they're low. Yeah. And so you just kind of like, if you're like, oh, I want to be on this road, and you're not there, that can be one of those where you're like, okay, if you're high, you must need to be going low. If you're low, must need to go high. So it's really interesting, yeah, the way they do 3D spaces. It's not intuitive for me always, and I think because I want to draw it out, and I don't draw it in 3D. Oh, that's a mailbox. I don't want that. I'll follow you. We'll find some sage. Hello, Ginger. How are you today? We are hanging out with Bingo Boffin and gathering up some food items so he can make an interesting recipe that he got from a book that a ranger in the Haunted Inn gave to him. I saw there was another one around the side. Or do we? Yeah, I need one more. It's right here. Zoop. All right, and then we need to get some sprigs of mint from around a tower, which is not too far from here. I'll follow you because you're good at directions. So we're headed over to here to get the mint, and that'll be the last thing. Yeah, I know, right? This is so funny when you get it all done. So yes, I've been dropping hints as we're going through. For example, the name of the in the book, the recipe book, where to find the various ingredients. It has different names than what we currently call things, meaning making you think, oh, maybe somebody knows these locations by older names, perhaps. The ranger who gave him the cookbook is not a ranger that we have heard of before. All sorts of suspicious, curious things about this recipe and recipe book. But we'll do what we can. All right, so we are, yes, looking for the sprigs of mint. Oh yeah, they're right by the shards of twilight. I remember that. Do we have to attack this? I guess we do. I don't think it was going to leave us alone otherwise. Oh, yeah. Yep, don't make sure you don't miss the mint. Oh no, another twilight is coming. I think this is a great adventure for a pair of hobbits, though. Gathering ingredients. We're out in, creepy Mirkwood, and we're like, gotta gather some ingredients, gotta cook something. Yes, epic potato time. Because we had to get some funky potatoes. Were they mushy potatoes or gooey? Not gooey potatoes. Anyway, we need to go back to the Haunted Inn. Okay. Because our milestones haven't cooled down yet. Let's see, what did we get? Oh, marshy taters. Those sound tasty. Marshy, marshy, marshy. Marshy, marshy, marshy. Haunted Inn. It's so funny riding these elk. I'm like, that doesn't match my outfit. I feel like we should rearrange the room and create more of the cat. So the cats, particularly Casper, tends to go for things that are more cave-like under the table, stuff like that, which is where he's at right now. So it makes me wonder if should I rearrange the room so that the cat's cave is behind us, so you can see the cats on stream more often. What is your house's design inspiration? Cats on film.
So hungry lately.
All right, so we have a new person in the stream. And they say, how would you describe the gameplay of Lord of the Rings Online to someone who has never played it and played games like it? Yeah. So let me come back to that. And anybody else who wants to jump in the chat and give your input as well. So, okay, let me read through this. It's very quest-oriented for me, I should say. That's what Lord of the Rings Online is for me. But we'll come back to that. All right, so he says, good. Thank you for bringing these ingredients to me. I'm very excited to prepare this breakfast, for my belly feels so empty. I've been so hungry lately. While you were gone, I went to look for Adualan to consult with her about how best prepare the spider meat so it will not taste vile or make us sick. But I couldn't find her. Could you ask one of the rangers where I might find her? Prestidir seems to be in charge, and he might know where she has gone. So, from a practical standpoint, Lord of the Rings Online is a game where you have quests and you pick up the quest and you go do something and then you complete the quest. For example, Bingo is like, hey, I'm looking for this person. Can you go find her? Go talk to this guy. So we're going to go talk to this guy. Like that sort of thing. Right? So it has some role-playing aspects, like a Dungeons and Dragons sort of thing. Like you pick a character, and so my character is a hobbit. You have the ability to dress up your character. She's wearing armor and she has weapons and things like that, but you also have the ability to still be wearing all that armor and everything, but you don't see that. You see these other outfits instead when you look at her. So you definitely have a lot of flexibility with your character in terms of how they look and the choices you can make. There are different, so there's different races you can play, like a hobbit, an elf, a dwarf, for example. There's also different types of classes you can play, and that's where that kind of D&D style comes through, where you could be like a hunter, where I'm just like standing far away. I do things at distance, at range, and so I'm hitting things at a distance. You can be a minstrel, also another ranged person, things like that. So I don't know if that it kind of gets you kind of more of the nitty gritty of the gameplay. Yeah, I like Threader's thing about how it's like WoW and D&D online all mixed together. So yeah, World of Warcraft, if you've played any of that, there will be some parts of this that you're like, okay, because like there'll be sometimes quests that are teaching you how to do a thing. Like, here's a quest on how to equip a weapon. Here's a quest on how to attack somebody, but learning those, how to interface with the game is actually really important, right? Because if you go to do things, you can't do them, like you'll get really frustrated. I found that with, I forgot the name of it, but one of the shooters in outer space where you're playing as a character and he runs around and there's I think 2 or 3 of them now, but I just really struggled with how to use the gun, how to switch to a different gun, how to target, how to do all that stuff. So the game, even though the storyline was very compelling to me, I wasn't able to really engage with it because I couldn't get the mechanics of it down, right? So that was really frustrating. So yes, like as Just Right says, the tutorials are actually pretty good, because the whole point of it is they want you to be able to play the game, so they're not going to waste your time. Let's see what other people have said. The graphics are incredible. Yeah, I talk about this, that for me, the graphics, it makes me feel like I've stepped into a painting. Like, I really love the artistic style that they have done, and that they use throughout the game. Before says, Lotro is a role-playing game, so you're playing a character, yep, as I mentioned. And what you can do in the game is limited to what your character can do. That's a good point. Like, I'm a hunter, so I can shoot things with a bow and arrow. I can use like small knives and things, small swords, whatever. But for example, Before is playing a minstrel, and a minstrel has like these audio things they can do, and that affects the bad guys, or buffs your teammates and whatnot. I don't have any of these audio things. Like, I can't do that. Yeah, and minstrels can play instruments that do things, like that give you buffs or that do attacks or whatever. I do not have that ability. I can play a musical instrument to make music, but I can't use it in combat. So that is a good point, that it is limited to what your character can do. Lotro is also an online game that many people can play at the same time. Yeah, that's true. So it's got that the MMO part of it, where you got a multi, it's like the online, and everybody can play at the same time from anywhere in the world, which is really nice. That is something that I was very interested in when I was looking for a game and decided to start playing Lotro. Yeah, massively multiplayer online game. Now you can run around the game and just play by yourself. There's no requirement to play with somebody else. It really just depends on your play style and what you like to do. I like to play with other people. I find that I find that more fulfilling for myself, but you don't have to. And Lotro is nice in that you could do either one, which is very cool. So because it's a MMO, the massive multiplayer online part, and it's a role-playing game, and that you are playing a character, so it is an MMORPG, as I said earlier, so thanks Before for spelling that out. And it is similar play-wise to most MMOs on the market, says Threader. Just Right says it's overall a nicer community, nicer community than other MMOs that you have played. Yep. That is something you'll hear repeatedly, is that, yeah, the Lotro community is very nice. We look after each other. Like, if somebody needs something, people will be like jumping in to be like, oh, well, what do you need? How can I help you? If you're like, hey, I've been trying to figure out how to do this thing with my character and I can't figure it out, and people will be like, hey, sure, let's, Now, you'll get lots of opinions sometimes. Like, in your character, you can choose to specialize in a particular line, and it's blue, red, or yellow. This is the way it is for all the different classes. And so, like, the blue line will do certain things and gives you access to certain abilities and has, for example, in this case, it's described as a mobile, harassing, mid-ranged hunter, whereas the Bowmaster, which is what I've chosen, is a stationary, long-ranged hunter dealing great damage, because I like doing a lot of damage, but it means I have to stand still in order to do a lot of the abilities that I have. Or Trapper of Foes, where you're kind of using some area effects and some crowd control to hinder the foes and keep them still or slow them down or whatever. So that's another thing that you'll get to play around with. So it's really funny because sometimes somebody will be like, hey, is it better to be like a red line hunter or a blue line hunter? And you'll get like, you know, all sorts of different opinions on that. But even though you're getting different opinions, nobody will be like, well, you're just wrong. This is the right way to play it. And in fact, you'll almost always get somebody in the chat who will be like, at the end of the day, do what you enjoy, because that's more important than some right way to play. Yeah. So let's see. Before had said the initial focus of Lotro is experiencing similar locations that appear in Lord of the Rings books. Yep. So yeah, that's another cool thing is you're going to see like the Shire, Breeland, where the Prancing Pony is. You know, yeah, the Shire with the hobbits. You interact with and speak with the named characters from the book. So Aragorn and Elrond and Gandalf and all of that. So. Thrutter says you've been playing WoW since 2004, and this game is so much better. I tried WoW at one point. I got like a free trial. And yeah, it just didn't grab me. And I was kind of lost. I'm like, okay, I'm this character, I'm running around. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Like, there was nothing on my map showing me where to go. I couldn't figure out how to get my quest information. Like, it was just, I don't know. It seemed aimless. And I wanted something that provided me with more information if I wanted it, you know. So yeah, Just Right was saying the tutorial is pretty good. Let's see. Okay, so thank you. And Skyan says, I have played the game. I have the game, but I've never played it. I've never played WoW, and the only D&D type game I've played is Neverwinter. So, okay, cool. So, and Just Right says, Lotro is not as twitchy as some games, which is good for me because my hand-eye coordination is not great. Totally with you on that. Yes. Oh my gosh. I try to click on things, and I'm constantly like, ah. Let's see. Yeah, D&D Bard, like, because, and then another person jumps in here, Pratamakam, says, a week ago you started playing Lotro, welcome, and you chose a Hobbit minstrel, and that's a great choice. Yes, before Affodil over there will say, yes, minstrels are bestrels. He says that all the time. It's really funny. And Ginger makes a really great point that Lotro is one of the few MMOs that let you decide how you want to play. And I often say this at the beginning of my stream, is that, you know, you've got like a storyline. So you've got your quest log, and that these are quests that you've picked up that you still haven't completed. And there is, I'm going to go to my completed actually and start there, but there is, so Lord of the Rings is a book, right? It's a series of books, you know, well-known series of books, right? So, the folks who made Lotro kind of took that idea and went along with that. So there is an epic storyline which follows the same storyline roughly as you get in those Tolkien books, but you're like on the sidelines helping out in different ways. And so the way they do it is through books. So for example, at the beginning I had book 1 of volume 1, chapter 1, and I had this thing called Unraveling the Thread, and it was like there's this mystery going on, and you get to go and kind of figure out what's going on. So that then leads you to chapter 2, Constable's Aid, chapter 3, Blackwell's Broken. So it's clever in that it takes you through as if you are participating also in a book. So you've got volume 1, all of these chapters, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4. So you can just follow the epic storyline, and it's actually a great way to start because it really does help you get to know the world of Lotro and interact with it in the most like straightforward way. However, everywhere you go, there's all sorts of side quests. So you could do those if you wanted to. You can ignore quests and everything altogether and just get together with other people and play music. There's servers where, like Landreval, for example, where people will play music all the time. Like, you can hardly go anywhere and there'll be people outside the Prancing Pony playing music. There'll be people hanging out in the Shire playing music. Like, on Lothlorien, which is a much more heavy role-playing server, as in you kind of interact with other people as your character, I have a Hobbit there. And on Friday nights, the Hobbits gather up at the Green Dragon in Bywater, in the Shire. Oh, there's our truck. And we tell stories, and we play music and dance. And it's just it's a very social evening. And I never go questing like with those characters. I just hang around. Just Right points out you can cook and farm and, to max level. And like, it's really, there's so many different ways you can play the game. A fun thing for me in the game is that there are festivals. So throughout the year, the folks who make Lotro, which is SSG, it was Turbine at the very beginning, but then it turned into SSG. Basically, it kind of converted over. So SSG is who runs Lotro now, Standing Stone Games. So anyway, so they throughout the year have festivals that happen. So there was just a festival called the Farmers Fair, and it very much focused on, like, the end of the summer harvests that often happen, like in the real world. And so this event took place in the Shire, and there's all these different little things you can do to participate in the festival, and you get festival tokens, and you can use those tokens to buy various cosmetic things in the game, or a mount, or like, it's more of the fun and social side of things. It's very lighthearted. And I love the festivals. I really love that, because you get to just kind of run around in a small area and enjoy just kind of the culture of what's happening around there. Now, usually the festivals also have some things happening in other parts of the world as well. But the main part of it will be in one location. So I have a fun time with that. Before I get too far, though, I see that Bito Tots just asked about the level of in Treebeard, and before answered that, we got to the Siege of Mirkwood, which is where we are, is in Mirkwood, at the end of June, and so currently Treebeard, we're at the max level 65, so we have access to Southern Mirkwood, and Enidwaith. So there we go. Let's see. Just Right said that Lotro has the best lore, if that's your thing, and it is really cool. Like, there's stuff, it can get really deep. Like, there's a guy who's a Tolkien scholar, and he streams on this channel on Fridays when he's not busy with other things in his Tolkien scholar life, and he goes through and plays through the game, and he will point out various things and how they connect back to the books, and that's really fantastic. It's really cool in that regard as well. So let's see. Thrunder says you're playing a dwarf champion and an elf hunter. Nice. I went through definitely a high elf phase because high elves can do all sorts of fun things. Like I love the tumbling, and I love the dance 3 they can do. It's like that ballet thing. So anyway, that's pretty cool. But I keep coming back to hobbits. I'm just really enjoying hobbits these days. I did start off though as a dwarf. That was my very first character in Lotro, was a dwarf champion. His name is Hackthil, and he I wanted him to be like Gimli. And so I thought that was really cool. So now before was playing a hunter, a hobbit hunter. And so we would run around together. Now this is when I was very, very new to the game, very, very new to how to play the game and how to like adjust camera angles to a way that works for me. How much do I zoom in? How much do I zoom out? Like, just really getting a handle on how I am comfortable in the environment. Oh, thank you. And so I found it really difficult because we'd be running through like fields and I couldn't see. And it really drove me crazy as a dwarf. I'm like, these things are like coming through my face. It's like, rawr. So that was really frustrating. And then also because before I was playing a hunter at range, and hunter has a lot of DPS, like damage per second. So he'd be like stand back there going poo 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 poo, and I'd be like running up there with my dwarf, and I'd go to hit it, and it was like fall over because it's dead now because he already shot it to death. I'm like, oh. So I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I want to play a ranged character now. But my very first character was a dwarf champion, so I totally get you there. Yeah, Throater says you'll probably make a couple more characters when the expansion comes out, since it'll be for low level stuff. Yep, exactly. Yeah. Oh, before mentions that I've done those as well. I have done yeah, Elf Hunter and yeah. Let's see. So Skyan says, "Oh, cool! This game sounds like very fun. It is very fun. You'll have to play it. I love the world and the lore of Middle Earth. Can you have multiple characters?" And yes, as people reply to, absolutely you can. I don't think I can show you the login screen easily without like logging out. But basically, as a free-to-play player, which you would probably start off as, you have I think 2 character slots that you can fill. So you create a character, you play it, you can create a second character, you can play it. If you want more characters than that, you have to either delete a character or get more character slots. So now there's various ways you can get more character slots. So the Lotro store, you can buy them. So this is in-game. There's a little button down here at the bottom, and oh, nice, you purchased VIP. Very smart. So this takes you to the Lotro store. You can use in-game currency called Lotro points. Okay, cool. Thank you. So that's one way to buy more, to get more slots. You can also, when you buy some of the expansions, sometimes they'll come with a character slot, especially if there's a new race. Like when Bjorning came out, I'm pretty sure that expansion also came with an extra character slot. As Thrutter mentions, they purchased VIP subscription, and that gives you 7 slots. So that puts you at 9, just, because you have your original 2 and the plus of 7, I believe. Sorry, I just noticed that you named your guy Grog Smash. That's fantastic. But yes, you can have characters, not just, as Just Right points out there, you can have characters on multiple servers too. Like, it's not the same character, like you're creating new characters every time. But I do have Rosenbloom here on the Treebeard server, but I also have a Rosenbloom on Lothlorien and on Crick Hollow, and so I'm on a number of servers. And yeah, as Just Right points out, she has, they have characters on several servers. VIP is great. I really like having VIP. I'm also a VIP subscriber, and we did it so it's once a year because that's the cheapest per month cost, and we were able to absorb that in one go. So that makes the most sense for me. I like saving money. But you can do it month by month. You can do it every 3 months. There might be a 6 month. There's definitely a year thing.
Activate it and let it lapse.
That's true. You could inactivate it and let it lapse. You've got options there. Like, there's definitely people that I know who have VIP, but then life gets busy, or they lose their job or whatever, and you can let that lapse. Like, it's not a problem. But then you do lose any of your VIP. Well, you don't lose all of your VIP stuff, but you do lose some of it. I haven't dropped, so I don't know what happens to your character slots.
You just lose access to it.
Okay, so a lot of times if you don't have, if you have characters in character slots, but you've overdone it, like if you had VIP and then you drop it, now you've got characters in those slots, but you're only allowed to have 2 or whatever. Those characters still exist, but you don't have the ability to interact with them anymore until you go VIP again or buy more character slots. So let's see. Gypsy Tavern says, "Hello everyone, hello, welcome." Moobot has reminded us that the Farmers Fair was live. Wah, wah. Moobot, you tease. Because we do have another event coming, but not until October. Let's see. Berry Treasure Hobbit Harvest Math doesn't start until October 12th. I love the festivals, so I was like, wait a minute, is it next week? No. Kyotoshi asks, is True the Dwarf Warden? I forget what is coming, but okay, so the question that's being asked, I believe, is about, there's an upcoming expansion, and at that same time, I believe is when they're releasing, or maybe before that actually, but anyway, so certain races can only play certain classes. So for example, as a hobbit, I can be a hunter, I can be a minstrel, but I can't be a champion and I can't be a lore master, as an example. When they've released this, and it might be, I think it's sometime this month. I was thinking it was early this month, actually, now that I think about it. I have to look it up. That some of the classes, yeah, they're adding more of the class race combo options. So hobbits will be able to be lore masters and champions, I think, because I keep thinking of Sam. And it's possible that dwarves can be warden. I do not remember where. Do you want to do a pokey?
I don't remember where it's pronounced.
Yeah. Oh, it has been announced. There is announcement stuff out there. Let's see. Ginger says Lore Master will be here by the end of the month for Hobbit. So by the end of the month, huh? Okay. Because I'm kind of excited about that myself. Let's see. It'll be 33.2 maybe. So the numbers I'm saying is when they do a new release, it has a number. So like release number 10, number 12, number 14, like that sort of thing. And so we are up to 32, I think it was. And so 33.
Here it is.
Okay, good. I'm glad you found it. Awesome. Oh, it was in the producer's letter. Perhaps. Also, Bulroar. Okay, thank you. So during character creation, dwarfs and stout axe dwarfs can choose captain and warden. Elves and high elves will be able to choose burglar. Hobbits will be able to choose champions and lore masters. So there you go. So dwarfs and stout axe will be able to do captains and wardens. So there you go. There's the answer to your question. Fun times. Okay, I'm gonna get back to Prestideer here real quick. And I tell him that I'm looking for this ranger that was talking to Bingo, and he says he doesn't know anybody by that name. And I said and we told him, you know, you met this ranger. She gave him a book of recipes, but now she seems to have disappeared. And he's like, I don't want to tell you, there's no ranger by that name here, and no ranger that we know of at all, unless our ranks are much larger than I realized, or my memory is worse than I believe. Perhaps both are true, but I don't think so. So let's go back and talk to Bingo. So for those of you who are new to the game, Bingo Boffin is this cute little hobbit guy. You meet him back in the Shire. And he, I don't know, he decides that he wants to go on an adventure. Through a series of things, he decides he wants to go on an adventure. He found a map, and he's following this map. And things just keep, you know, compounding, and his adventure just keeps going. So now he's found himself out in Mirkwood, talking to a ranger that doesn't exist, to make a recipe that sounds rather dubious, from places that no longer have those names. So he says, well, this is quite a puzzle. You said that Prestideer does not know any rangers by that name. If she was not a ranger, then who was I talking to? Who gave me this book of recipes? Well, I don't know. Let's talk to her. She's right over here giving me all this dread. Dum, dum, dum. So it's one of the things that the game does. So notice this little orange bar here in my health. So the top line is my green, is my health. It's called morale. In Lotro, and the blue bar down below is, I forget what that's called. Not morale, the other one. The power, like how strong do you hit things, that sort of thing. A lot of your skills will use up power, but you get it back so fast. It's like you don't usually notice it. I don't usually notice it. So morale and power, yeah. So notice in my morale bar, I have that much morale, but when I get close to her, I get this thing called dread. So your heart is heavy in the face of such evil. It's like, what? How is she evil? And then it takes away some of my health bar, so it can only fill up to a certain point. You can counteract that with a thing called hope. Affodil has a hope. Do you still have your thing? Yeah. Has a little token that gives hope to the fellowship. So she's just given me +5 hope. Oh, you used a token? So that will last for 40 minutes. Nice, thank you. So that kind of helps counteract that dread that I'm feeling. Also, you can look at your radar here, and there's a little thing here in the corner where it shows you where you are in the hope to dread continuum. So right now I have +1% maximum morale because my hope is at 1 above. Like if it was at neutral, it's just neutral. But because I have extra hope, that helps give me extra morale. And apparently I do not just 100% damage, but 101% damage. But anyway, let's talk to this lady who looks kind of ghosty. She says, I am sorry I deceived the two of you. My name is Adolina, and I lived in Adrigam long ago. A great evil was committed here, and I did not speak against it. For that I am cursed never to find rest or peace. I arranged for your friend to find my old book of recipes, for I wanted nothing more than to pass on the activities that gave me such joy in life, when joy was possible. But I know now that it can never be, and it was the sense of family, the sense of belonging that I truly missed. Mirkwood was not always called such. Once it was Greenwood the Great. See, here we're getting into some of the lore of Tolkien. And the woodsman thrived beneath its canopy. The recipes I wrote for my people made exclusive use of the herbs and creatures that dwelled within, but so many of them will never return, and those meals will never be made again. Such is the nature of my curse. All else will change, but I will not. Watching the two of you, or 3 of us, has been bittersweet, but it dispelled my loneliness for a time, no matter how briefly. I thank you for that kindness. Yay, we helped her out a little bit. She says, this experience has sent shivers down my spine, Bingo says. I am astounded to learn that Adolina labors beneath a curse and has done so for who knows how many years. I mean, this place is called the Haunted Inn, but I didn't really think. And he kind of sputters into silence. To be fair, the lighting here is very dim. I think my mistake is quite understandable, and Adolina did not go out of her way to correct me, did she? I thought her name was Aduilan, which seems to be more likely a ranger's name than Adolina. I must confess that I am pleased. I need not try spider meat now, but I am still hungry. I'll need something. My rumbling belly could wake the dead. That might have been in poor taste. Terribly sorry. But that does not change the fact that I have missed a breakfast and cannot continue my adventures until I have something. So, there we go. So we finished that. We're going to get some legendary item experience, which will go into our legendary tracker. Yay. I'm going to get some bingo badges so I can buy some bingo stuff if I want. And I get a title, Hungry for Adventure. So we'll finish this, and next week, although, like I said, we're a little behind on our bingo boffin adventures, and so next week will be right away. But that's okay. So we're going to finish that now. So, we're now on a quest called Second Breakfast. He says, this empty belly of mine has made it quite impossible for me to concentrate on further documenting our stay in Mirkwood. I'm glad that we were able to give her a momentary distraction from her curse, but the fact remains that our recipe for breakfast involves spider legs, and I'm powerless to do anything about the curse, but it is within my power to refuse the breakfast of hairy spider legs. No spider legs for me, thank you. I told Willem. Willem Whisker is a... Oh, what is he? Lynx. A lynx that we have befriended in our bingo boffin journeys. And he says, I told Willem about my dissatisfaction and my hunger, and he ran off. Can you ask around the inn to see if anyone knows what has become of him? I expect he has gone in search of a second breakfast, and I would greatly appreciate your hastening him back here with it. So we will go and do that. All right. What have I got? Oh, this is going to tell me I got a new title. Ta-da! So I could change it, although I still have the Excellent, which was from the festival. And that's such a great title because I was doing egg hunting. So, the Excellent. Okay. Oh, and B4 pointed out that the notes are from the test server. This is not currently available on the standard servers. So there is a test server. It's called Bull Roarer, and it opens from time to time. And usually they'll have it open for 3 days, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so it was open last week, and so that's why those notes are out there, because people were doing some testing. So, and you are able to go and put a character onto Bull Roarer when it's open and do testing and stuff like that. So yeah, and Skyan, you are absolutely welcome. Definitely glad to have helped out to explain anything we can. And I will tell you that Lotro is so deep. There's so much. There's so many quests. There's so many connections between quests. There's so much you can do. Like, for example, this is the options panel. The options panel has, I don't know, I would say maybe 1,000 different things you can choose. Like, this is just the first tab, and then you've got, so that's the graphics, then you've got advanced graphics you can play with. I mean, if you go all the way down to like the UI settings, I mean, this thing is long. So there's no way, I think, that anybody could know everything about the game. So I am always like, if you don't know how to do something, ask. There's probably somebody who does know the answer to the thing you're trying to figure out. And you someday will know something that somebody else has been trying to figure out. So that's the way I figure it. You know, we all help each other out. That's a good way to do it. Hey, Bert Bartleby. How's it going?
I've collected many fine items during my
That Flettree is
travels.
so cool. All right, we'll come back and buy stuff from him later, maybe. So where do we want to go? We need to go find Will and Whisker somewhere
Well,
in Mirkwood.
he's assaulting Noldor.
Are we going to assume that he's assaulting Dol Guldur?
If we do, then we should write to Hello.
We're going to make that
What do
assumption.
you need?
And we'll go to Helithir. Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. Sneakies, hello, welcome. Okay, so let's see. We've got a few other questions I kind of missed here. Threader says, I'll definitely be rolling a Hobbit Lore Master for sure. I know, right? Oh, yeah, and Ginger points out that power in here is kind of like mana in EverQuest or WoW. So, and we, yeah, a lot of us will sometimes say health instead of morale. It's the same basic idea. If you run out of morale, you're defeated and you're sent to a rally circle. Which means you get to, start over basically from where you're at. But at least it's not too far away usually. Threader asks, what level do you get your first legendary? Before I replied that you get access, thank you, to Epic Volume 2 and the legendary items starting at level 45. So once you turn level 45, you can skip out of the books. Like, you don't have to follow the books in order. It's kind of like some of the books start themselves. What's that?
Choose your adventure.
Yeah, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. So you can just zip off to Moria and start working on getting your legendaries there. A lot of those quests are level 50 or so. So if you go in at 45, you totally can. It just might be a little harder, but some people like that. I mean, I say that's playing here on the Treebeard server, where I am playing on, I've picked a difficulty level, because you can do that on the Treebeard server, of and it's deadly plus 0, so things are harder for me on here, but I really like it. So let's see, Muat posted information about Bull Roar. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, Sneaky says, I've played Lotro for 11 years and I still find out new things. So that's what I mean. So like, for you guys, y'all who are new players, like, if you're like, oh, I don't know how to do something, and you just keep banging your head against something, ask. Somebody will know. There's no sense in just like, you don't have to figure everything out on your own. You absolutely do not. Like, yeah, we're all here to help each other out. So ask here in a stream, ask in world chat. If you are in a kinship, ask in your kinship. Like, there's all sorts of people around that are going to be able to help you out. There's also the Lotro forums, and there's lots of information on the forums too. So plenty of things. Oh my gosh, yeah, right. Before mentions that he was amused recently when one of the SSG employees was streaming recently and was learning about how to do searching in vendor windows. So, for example, I have a vendor in my pocket. Hold on, let me say hello. So these are the things that I have in my inventory, and I could sell them if I wanted to. If I were searching for something, I can click this little magnifying glass up here in the corner, and it allows me to find items. So maybe I'm looking for, I don't know, the beaks. I want to know where those tapered beaks are. Well, there you go. Now it shows up for me. You can do that here in this window. You can do it in the window where you're at a vendor and buying things from them. Yeah, it's like, it's really super handy. But they hadn't seen that before. So like there's just all these little tricks and tips and helpful things that are built into the game. That's why sometimes it so cracks me up, because you'll see somebody in World who'd be complaining about, you know, oh, this game, why do they not include blah, blah, blah? And you're like, they did? Here, let me show you. And they're like, oh, okay. So, okay, that's kind of funny. So yes, Throder says, I'm in no rush. I'm loving the journey and I love the sights. I know, right? It's like, even in Mirkwood, like we're out here in creepy Mirkwood, and let me try not to fall off the edge, but I mean, look at that. Like, that is, like, they did some massive world building. Now we're out by, in Dol Guldur. So place of the, what was he called then? I mean, it's Sauron. But, oh, what's he called? What's Sauron called when he's in Dol Guldur?
Oh,
The Necromancer. That's right, the Necromancer. So, yeah, like, they just, so good. So good. The Lotro Wiki is fantastic, by the way. It is a fan-managed website, and it's all about Lotro. Every single quest, hopefully, is on the wiki. Like, if we ever find a quest, like, people will add it. There's lots of, oh my gosh, there's so much detail on the Lotro wiki. So if you're ever having trouble, like, figuring out how to do something within a quest, the Lotro wiki is also a great place to go. Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Thank you. Before put the link in the chat there. Oh yeah. For example, someone in the forums was regretting that task board quests were automatically going into their quest log. So like this is something I was doing earlier on the stream, but basically they were showing up in their quest log over here on the side, and you only have room for 5, and then they start scrolling and putting in the next one. And you can turn that off. You don't have to have quests automatically go into your quest log. And the tasks specifically, you don't have to have those going into your quest log if you don't want that. So you've got a lot of flexibility in how your setup is set up for you. So, it's just kind of funny. Yes, so the Lotro Wiki, it is fan organized, it's fan run, fan edited, all of that. So occasionally there are mistakes, or we ran into something recently where a deed in an instance that we were doing was the information on the wiki was old, because at some point the SSG or Turbine had changed the requirement. So the deed name was still the same, the quest to complete the deed was still the same, but what you had to do was different. And so we we're like making notes about that for the wiki. So you might run into that from time to time, where something is inaccurate because it's an older thing and something changed and it hasn't been updated on the wiki yet, because somebody just hasn't run across it. Because you have to have the kind of like that Venn diagram overlap of somebody encountering it who is also a wiki editor. Now anybody can be a wiki editor, anybody can get involved in editing the Lotro wiki. So if that's something that is of interest to you, just go to the wiki. There's information on there about how you can kind of get involved. So you can help pitch in too if you want. Okay, so we found Will and Whisker. Affidil's so smart. Affidil probably went to the wiki. All right, Will and Whisker stands by a dirty satchel that appears to once have been the property of an orc. Ew. The lynx beams at you proudly and you pick up the satchel. You take a quick peek inside and the contents make you laugh in spite of yourself. You resolve to bring it back to Bingo in the Haunted Inn. All right, so you pick up the orc satchel and Willem purrs contentedly. All right, so let's go back to the Haunted Inn. Oops, not that one. Not that one. There we go. I have like 10, 12, whatever the max. I bought all the milestones. Which is really useful, but occasionally I'm like, nope.
You can search your skill list.
That's true. I could just pull up my skill list like that, which is Shift K, by the way, for skills. And then I can search through here using the little search bar, which is great. But also you can, let's see, where is it? Hunter, focus, no, listen, milestone skills. See, there's the list of my milestone skills also, if I wanted to just do it that way. Okay, let's go show Bingo the contents of this bag. He's going to be so happy. Hey, Willem. Willem's fast. Bingo gingerly takes the orc satchel. What's that? Willem Whisker found this satchel for me? How thoughtful. Does it contain food, do you think? The bag does seem to be rather worse for wear, but let's see. Small trinkets, bent bits of metal. This is rather fuzzy. Bingo suddenly jumps backward and drops the satchel onto the table. After a moment, he begins to laugh. There are spider legs in here. Willem, did you think I was unhappy about how few spider legs Rosenbloom brought back? That was not it at all. Why does everybody want me to try these unpleasant things? Do you know something? I think I'm ready to return to Lothlorien. I'll meet you out front of Karis Galadin, and perhaps we can find some real food, for now my belly is quite complaining. Well, there we go. We got him off into to see some of the murky Mirkwood. Yeah. All right, so go ahead and finish up there, Affadil, and I will take us back to Karis Galadin. So this is one of the things a hunter can do, is I have hunter travel skills that allows me to return my fellowship to various locations. Lothlorien is one of them, which is really nice. We were using my Mirkwood one a couple of times, which takes us back to that first zone in the Mirk Eaves. So that's cool. All right, so Bingo is out front here, not too far from Bartleby, chilling out on the bench, enjoying a good sunny day. All right, he says, we are back in more pleasant lands. It is something of a relief to leave Mirkwood behind us, but, well, I have been worrying about something. His cheerful expression is gone, and he seems quite upset. He says, it's this appetite of mine. We boffins like to have as many meals as anyone, and I'm no stranger to nipping off to the larder for a snack or two between meals. But this hunger is sharper in a way than any hunger I can remember. I got to thinking about what has gotten me this hungry, and I realized it began around the time we crossed the river into Mirkwood. There's something unnatural about this. Is this a curse? You need to have done something bad to be cursed. Didn't Adelina say something about a great evil in her past? Well, I was thinking about it, and while I wouldn't say I have done anything especially evil, I wasn't honest with Calanglath, was I? We used deception to get him to allow us to cross the river. Is my increasing hunger a curse for my poor behavior? You have to go to Calanglath at the docks and apologize for my lies. I fear I'll waste away from this curse if you do not. Okay, sure. So we'll go do that. So Sneakies points out that a great housing item is Bingo's hat rack. Here, I'll go, let me show it what they're talking about. So Bert Bartleby has a number of wares that you can buy from him, and he progresses through the world as you progress through with Bingo. So you'll find him first back over in the Shire, and then he moves forward from there. So when you buy the original hat rack, and it's a cute little hat rack, and there's no way to really show it bigger here, is there? Not really. But basically, as you go through, you can take that hat rack, and then you can trade it in with some tokens to Bert Bartleby to get the next hat rack. So, like, for example, the Misty Mountains one has Bingo's sun hat, Tom Bombadil's hat, the hat of Treasure Seeker Theodore Gorse, and the hood of Spalvey. These are people that you have encountered up until that point. And if you trade that in for Bingo's hat rack of Moria, it has on it Bingo's sun hat, Tom Bombadil's hat, the hat of the Treasure Seeker Theodore Gorse, the hood of Spalvey, and the hat of Ketil the Mapmaker, which is somebody that we meet in Moria. So the hat rack is a really cool thing. And in fact, you can buy multiples, because I've done that before where I have like a mostly blank one or one with just his sun hat on it. And then I'll get one that has a bunch of the hats on it, like just keep trading up. So yeah, I like having a couple of Bingo's hat racks in my house sometimes. Oh, right, we're going to the docks. So we want to go to the vineyards of Lorien. So yes, so as Sneaky says, yeah, the great housing items is hat rack. It has items from his whole adventure, and you need it you need to add pieces until it's done to get the full one. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Before. You can see the progression of the hat racks, yeah, as it adds each hat each time. That's really fun. Because we, at one point, were trying to figure out how to get the next one. And it was funny because the bingo stuff on the wiki had kind of tapered off at one point. And we were like, well, we want more information. And we were going through the bingo quest line in full ourselves. So, am I going the right way? No, I'm going the wrong way. I want to go to the bridge. Thank you. Yeah, so Before is really good about taking pictures and getting them cropped and really good for the wiki. So he did a bunch of that and got that updated, which was great. Because not only is a wiki a resource for other people, but I use it myself. And I'm like, sometimes I add things to the wiki because I keep trying to figure out the same information over and over again. And so I just add more information to the wiki to make it so the next time I'm trying to figure something out, the information's already there on the wiki. For example, there's some travel cooldowns that you can do, accelerate those cooldowns. And there's like one's the expedient traveler, one's the hurried traveler, and like I keep getting them mixed up. So I put the information on the wiki. Okay, so Calenglass says, you've come back, I see. What did your friend think of the Golden Host's adventures in Mirkwood? And you explain Bingo's deception, and you give Calenglass the Hobbit's sincere apologies. The elf nods solemnly, but there's a smile on his lips. Bingo must have a low opinion of the intelligence of elves if he believed I was truly fooled by his deception. I was not. But it takes a large heart to admit such a thing, and my refusal to bear him across the river was born not of malice, but of concern for his safety. I accept his apology. He says, I might also have a solution for his hunger. Give him this packet of lembas along with my well wishes. I think I think the one will cure his hunger and the other may assuage his guilt. For I imagine the latter is the truest source of the curse. And I have once forgiven, I expect he will be free. That is my guess. So we're going to go give him some lembas and he's going to fill up fast. All right, so let me take us back up to Garrus Galadin. Yes, sounds good. Oh yeah, thanks Before. So yes, you can decrease the cooldown of your milestones and your travel skills with Expedient Traveler, Hurried Traveler, and Returning Traveler. And each one does a slightly different thing. And so, yeah. Now, I end up preferably buying all three of them, so it doesn't matter. But if I want to start with one, like if one is on sale or something like that, it's worth it.
Accepted my apology.
All right, so he accepted my apology. Ah, lovely, lovely. I am glad to hear it. And what is this? Lembas. How interesting. It looks to be a type of cake, if a little plain looking. It is a gift from Calenglass. He takes a small bite and nibbles at it for a moment. Ah, I did not expect it to be so delicious, and how filling. This lembas has quite cured my curse, if such it was. It is good to have a full belly. For now, I'm ready to travel down the great river in search of further adventures. So, next week, it says, the banks of the great river, and it is recommended that you be level 70. Now, our server, so we're playing on a legendary server, and that means that it is progressing differently than like a regular server. So what ours does is we're earning 40% of experience for like quests and monster kills and all sorts of things like that. Yes, come back in 3 months. So we're earning less experience. So instead of 100%, we're learning 40%. So it allows us to progress through the game a lot slower. Also, they open up the game. Let me go back to Eriador. So when Treebeard first opened in a year ago, so it was July 30th of 2021, is when it opened, and we had all of Eriador to play in. And this is everything that basically takes you up through level 50. This is also the area of the game that first existed when the game initially started. It was called Lord of the Rings Online, something Angmar. Shadows of Angmar. And so you've got Angmar up here in the corner, and basically you spend, if you're following the book, you kind of find your way from the starter zones out, finding your way through like the Lone Lands and the Trollshaws and the North Downs and up through like Avendim or Forhel, up through Fornost, and anyway, and then you make your way up to Angmar, which is all dark and gloomy and red and creepy stuff happening. So that was kind of like the end of the game at that point was in Angmar. But the game did well, thankfully. So over time, they added expansions that take you into a new area. So after that first foray into Lotro, they added the Moria area. So that gave us the Gate of Moria, and you go into Moria, and you end up also coming out a little bit into Lothlorien. So you got Moria and Lothlorien, and there's some storyline that takes you back and forth between those two. So that took you up to like level 60 also. So you went from level 50 was the cap at the beginning, and that took you up to level 60. Now, the next one is, I forget what this expansion is called, but it takes us into Mirkwood, where we've just been running around. And yes, then you get lost in Moria. Oh my gosh, no kidding. So where we are right now, real quick, is Mirkwood, and then we also are in a nearby place called Enidwaith, which I always struggle to find it on the map. It's here somewhere. We're here somewhere. So the fact that it says next week, the banks of the Great River recommend level 70, that tells me that this is not available on this server yet. So I will finish this, but there is no further adventure for me to pick up at this point. So Bingo will sit here on this bench in Lothlorien until we get access to the Great River, which will be the next expansion for us, I would guess, because Bingo just mentioned it. And that will take us to 70 or 75. I forget which. There's a list on the wiki of the different expansions on the legendary servers and the date that those legendary servers got those. So I would expect that Treebeard will get the same expansions and the same level cap, you know, bump up as they have done on the other legendary servers. So, and you can look there if you're like, hey, what's coming next? So the cool thing here with us on Treebeard is we get the next expansion every 6 months. So we've got 6 whole months to play around and do all the quests that we want to do and do all the deeding we want to do and all that kind of stuff. Because like myself and Affadil are definitely like deed completionist people. There is, let's see, not that. Yeah, the deed log, and this is in the game. And you can go through the different tabs. And so like, Rovanian is where we are with Lothlorien, and then these little tabs at the bottom, there's Moria, so there's some things we didn't actually finish Moria yet. There's Southern Mirkwood, but if we go back to like Eriador, notice my Breeland is empty. I've completed every deed in Breeland, at least every deed that's showing here. Oh, I still have some Yondershire outstanding. I've got some Heirloom's done, Lowlands is done, North Downs is done. So we like to do that. We like to finish everything. So we do that. Now, there are plugins for the game, and these are things where people who understand coding and programming can, there's information about your character that you have access to in a way, or that you can have access to. And it's through a programming language called Lua, L-U-A. And so there are people who can program little mini programs basically to run in the game. And these are called plugins. So there's a whole section actually in here. There's a plugin manager that you can use in the game. Like this is part of the game. Like they expect that plugins will happen. They put the Lua out there 10 years ago or something. But yeah, so there's lots of different plugins that you can play with. So the deed tracker is one of my favorites. Before also happened to make it, so I know a lot about it. That's probably one of the things that helps. But so when I said earlier the deeds that you can see, well, the deed tracker shows me any hidden deeds as well. For example, if you receive somebody doing, let's see, which one is that? The dull. You know, I think I have these on the next page. Okay, here we go. So, no, here it is. surrender. If you receive the surrender emote done at you 100 times, you get, that completes a deed. Yeah, I need surrender, I need bow, I need mock. Now the funny thing is I only have fire breather, that's the only one I've finished. Oh, and sword salute, I have that one finished. So it finishes a deed, and a couple of them give you an emote that you can do, like sword salute. I can stand there and hold a sword up in the air. So, and you can only increment these hidden deeds, these particular ones, 5. You can receive 5, bows. You can receive 5 salutes. You can receive 5 surrenders per day. So it takes quite a few days for you to then finish those deeds. So that's not listed in the in-game deed log, because this is under class race epic here, and this is under, yeah, so like it's a hidden deed. You don't know anything about it until you just all of a sudden you get it. Hey, just like that, I just got one. Sweet, thank you. Receive 100 bow emotes. This can only be incremented 5 times per day. So this is part of the deed tracker, this pop-up, and it tells you what you did to get the deed, or whatever text is in the game. It's been copied and pasted into here. So the deed tracker is really cool. And then in game, it'll give me this alert to tell me, hey, you just finished a deed. Now, annoyingly, it doesn't tell me which deed I finished anymore. It used to do that. It used to take you right to it, but something glitched out in one of the updates they did, so it doesn't take you right to it anymore. It's kind of weird. But
The book's already open, it feels better.
if the book is already open and then you do open the thing.
You have a new one, you can do the one, if you click the new one first and then the complete one, it goes to the complete one pretty reliably.
Okay. So he's saying that if you have the deed log open and then you click the thing that you completed, it'll often take you to that thing. So, okay, well, I'll have to keep that in mind for next time. Hey, okay, just like that. The thank emotes worked. Thank you. That's awesome. See, I was really close to completing these, as you can tell. Okay, so if I open this up and then I open this title or deed completed. Ah, nice. Okay, so I got a reward, the helpful. I wonder if that's a title then. Oh yeah, title awarded right here. Ta-da! So I could change my title if I want to. I really do like the excellent. That's such a good one. Although the poetical is nice. Yeah, we'll do that one. I'll just pick that for now. Okay, anyway. Where were we? Where are we? We are coming up on 2 hours. Oh, before I forget, I mentioned this like a gazillion hours ago in the stream, much a while ago in the stream. Okay, so we just had groceries delivered, but it was like bulky goods because we keep not finding them at the grocery, and having them just come from the warehouse was easier. But one of the things I wanted is, okay, so the grocery store here that we shop at, Albert Heijn, they kind of like use a little hamster as their mascot for things. And part of it is because there's a play on words, because hamsteren, like, is the verb, and it means like to gather or to hoard. And so that was actually a thing that happened, a couple years ago during the early days of the pandemic. People were hoarding things, and so they would have like press conferences with like the prime minister, and he'd be like, hey, can y'all not hoard things? And they had a sign language, a person doing sign language, and so she would do then like the, kind of like, because that's the thing, because hamstering and hamsters, like it is that kind of look like a hamster doing it. Okay, so anyway, they had these cute little hamster backpacks recently, and none of the stores that I stopped in had them because our stores around us are too small. So I was able to get a hamstering, little cute little backpack. Look at this guy. He's like, he's actually got enough room in there probably for like a fair-sized water bottle. I have some smaller water bottles that I like to carry, and I think I'll be able to fit something in there. Like here's a big hair clip, just to kind of give you an idea of scale. Like, so that's pretty awesome. So I was I very much wanted to get one of these hamster backpacks, and I've been very disappointed that our store and the other stores that we've checked haven't had them. So when I saw that they were available through the online ordering system, I'm like, okay, fine, we'll just do an online order. So I actually got 4 of them. Because I was like, well, maybe I should get 2 in case I really love it and then like it falls apart eventually, or if there's other people who wanted to get one and weren't able to, like I have extras, you know, like if there's kids that we know that maybe, you know, niece and nephew or that sort of thing. And then they were on sale for half price. So I'm like, well, okay, I'll just get 4. Hamstring! So I'm pretty happy about that. All right. Cat is not here, so the hamster can hang out in the, like, oh, we should take that tag off your ear though. Hang on, buddy. Let's get that tag off your ear. All right. There we go. That's better, right? Hamstring! I'm very happy about this now. Oh yeah, talking about the it's the little joys in life, right? When we were doing the social deed, these hidden social deeds, there's a plugin called Social Guy, and it looks like this over here. Oh, you probably can't see that on my screen. Let me see. Here it is. So it's this thing right here, and you pull it up, and it has emotes listed, and so you can just like go through and like click the button, bang, 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 bang. Some of these things you can't do when you're mounted, but now these buttons don't necessarily work anymore, or you know, it's Social Guy was made many moons ago. That's one of the other interesting things is some of the plugins that were made a long time ago still work because what they were doing and what has changed in the game hasn't changed. You know, there's not been changes needed or anything, so it works. But occasionally you'll have something like that where something happened and so it doesn't work quite the same as it used to. And then you get somebody like Before who will come along and tweak it and update it and do like basically a patch to it. So then you have to download like the original and the patch, which I find annoying. I'm like, I just want to go to one place and get the things and make it easier. So I'm encouraging him to there's a plugin that he's been working on. I'm like, you should just take it over or make one that's like it and be like, this is inspired by this. Now I have this, you know. Anyway, so for example, I use this little suitcase here and it's called Travel Window, but I actually use Travel Window 2 because Travel Window, the original, was fantastic and I used it a ton. But it's a little out of date at the moment, and the person who was updating it is not anymore. And so sorry. So they've switched over to Travel Window 2. Somebody else has been doing that and keeping that up to date. Because every so often in the game they'll add like a new travel skill, and so you need somebody who's active in the game to be able to then add that information into their to that plugin. So some plugins are more dynamic like that, where new things happen, and other plugins are more static, and you don't have to have changes made often. Oh my gosh, I did that too, where I tried to sit on the bench with him, and I stole the bench from him. Yes, and he was like,
Not having it.
sit. Oh, he has taken it back from you. That's really funny. When I did it, I ended up taking the bench, and he was sitting in midair, but I didn't turn sideways. I was like sitting straight up.
Yeah, no, it's taking it
Interesting. Now this is when he still had the books next to him, so maybe it's a different actual physical item.
back. I will also sit on the bench. That's fine.
Let's see if okay, so like I did like this, because I was trying to sit next to him. You can sit on things in this game. See, there. Oh, what? He took it right back. Oh, that's fascinating.
He's not distracted by the books.
Yeah, that's true. He's not distracted by the books anymore. Here, let me take us to Bree, so we can go sit on a chair in the print. Well, we're trying to find the nearest chair.
Let's rely on this market.
Lalia's Market?
Yeah, the parents will find it.
Or we could go to the Shire. But that's true. We could just do Lalia's. This is a little tip if you don't know this already. Lalia's Market is in Bree, in the town of Bree, and there is a travel skill that you can buy to take you to Lalia's Market. And I don't think there's any level restriction on that, like maybe level 5 or something. But like when you get out of the instance. So right here, return to Lalia's Market requires novice. So yeah, so once you've got novice, which you get at like level 5, you can come in here and buy this. It costs 3 mithril coins, which you're like, but Nikki, I don't have any mithril coins. Well, no big. You can just go in here to the Lotro store and you can get like 5. Oh, weird. It just, oh wow, the Lotro store is having an issue. Well, anyway, that is so wild because I opened it earlier. Okay, anyway, you just go into the Lotro store and you can get like 5 mithril coins for I think 50 Lotro points. You can earn 50 Lotro points like easy peasy. Because things like your class race epic stuff, like Enmity of the Spiders, go and defeat 50 spiders. Well, that's a class thing because I'm a Hobbit. But even like, let me go to Eriador, like the Shire. Yeah, any of the Slayer deeds is what I'm trying to say. So like Harvest Fly Slayer, go and defeat 20 Harvest Flies, and you get 5 Lotro points. And then just stick around and do another 40, and you'll get 10 Lotro points. So that's 15 right there. So you just do like 3 or 4 Slayer deeds up through Advanced, and you'll get, bam, you'll have like, 50 Lotro points. So easy. So yeah, so the Lalia's Market thing is pretty neat. There, you can also buy a whole tons of cosmetics from her as well, which is cool. They do cost mithril coins, so I often don't do that. Almost everything you find in here, you can also find somehow eventually in the game. It may be a while. Yeah, not on Treebeard now, but like, is it this one? No. I've gotten that one in the game before. Sometimes some of this information is on the wiki too. But there's like cloaks of multicolors that you can do. Oh, like it might be this one. Yeah, I think some of these you can earn like in Isengard, but you have to get a thing and with another thing, and then you trade them in, and then you trade that in eventually with another thing to another thing, and that's how you get the fancy cloak, and it's like crazy cakes. So, but you can do it. Like, you don't have to ever pay mithril coins for any of that stuff. But Lalia's market travel is really handy, and especially when you're early on in the game, because you end up going to Bree for something all the time. Like, it seems like, yeah, I mean, it's a hub, right? Like, you got stuff to do in Bree. So having a travel skill that gets you to Bree is super handy. So yeah, I was gonna just take us over to the Prancing Pony because it's so iconic and awesome. But also I just wanted to show you how to sit on a chair. So Ginger says, everything is leggy today. Well, that's disappointing. Well, I don't want to take the chair from the cat. Here, I'll sit on this bench. Can I sit on this bench? What happens if I do that? Oh, no, I'm actually sitting out there. Maybe I have to stand next to it. Let me try that way. I do this all the time in the, nope, did it again. I should have just taken us to the Shire. I don't see any chairs. There's all benches. Oh, here we go. Is that a chair? That's like a chair.
Well, do you have milestone now in power?
Maybe. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah, they were up. See? Oh! Maybe it wasn't bingo. Maybe it's being weird, because look, it just jumped me right back off of it. You're going to go check out Hobbit and Bywater? Okay. That's Breland. There we go. Yeah, I'll head over there, too. The festival that just happened, the Farmers Fair, was taking place around Hobbiton and Hobbiton Bywater. So we have a milestone set to there, because it just makes life easier. So... Sneaky says cosmetics are great because 99% of the time the equipment gear is ugly. Oh, snap. Yeah, like this is my current equipment, like outfit. It's not horrible, but yeah, I don't necessarily want to be seen out on the streets of Mickle Delving in that. But yeah, there are some of them actually that are really nice. Like my elf at like... I want to say like 75 or something like that. There's a set that you can buy from the skirmish camp, and it's like purples and blues and blacks, I think it was. It was really cool. Oh, there you go. Now you're sitting on a chair. So yeah, you can sit on the furniture is what we're trying to do here. So yeah, if you go up to like the table, I'll go to the other side of the table so I don't steal your chair by mistake. And you're on the ground and you do sit. There we go. It takes the chair away from the table. Look at that. And it put me on it. Now, if I go over to where she's at though, you just went rolling with that chair. That was crazy. Oh yeah, you just stole the chair from her. See, look at that. It steals the chair out. So it looks like but the character can't, the NPC can't move. So it just stays there like as if it's still sitting, but the chair is gone. Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. But yes, Sneakies, I agree with you that almost every time I like wearing cosmetic stuff better. I think you can, yes, you can sit on these benches. I'm pretty sure I've done it. Let me see. So this is where we come on Fridays, but I'm over on the Lothlorien server. Oh, I didn't do it. I know you can sit in this chair because Lena jokes about how it's the naughty chair. And so what we do is on Lothlorien, we'll come here, and whoever's in like running the evening will be here, and they'll play some music, and then they'll call people up who've offered to tell jokes or do songs or whatever. And so then you go out into the crowd, and you'll be like, you know, dancing out here. You know, so you're like, oops. There we go. So I'll be out here like dancing, doing whatever. And then at the end, then we applaud, yay, or we cheer, and yeah. So that's why I'm like very familiar with this space. Now, Affodil, if she stays there, and if I sit here, I think I might steal the chair from her. Let's find out. Oh no, I got another one.
Nice.
Interesting. Or maybe you don't steal chairs from PCs?
Come sit next to me.
Yeah. So this is the funny, silly little stuff you can do in Lotro also. No. Oh, no chair for you. Well, me. Interesting. Oh, and we didn't even talk about housing yet. That's a whole nother thing you can deep dive into that some of us have. But I will tell you real quick, for those of you who are new, that housing is great because if you have a house, you get a skill that allows you to travel to your house. And if you're in a kinship, you get a skill that allows you to travel to the kinship house. So that's great because having ways to get around is really handy. So like I have travel to my personal house. I have, here, I'll just look up my travel skills. So travel to my personal house. I could travel to our kinship house. When you have that going on, you have also this travel to kinship members house. That's really handy. And then I also have a premium house. So now I have the travel to premium house button. The travel to premium house is interesting because if you have more than one premium house, that pushing that button will take you to the last one that you went to of your premium houses. Same thing with kinship members house. It'll take you to the last kinship members house that you traveled to. So if you always go to the same one, that can be really convenient. Like for example, I'll go ahead and travel to the kinship members house. And I'll show you another really cool feature about that, about having a house in the neighborhood. Yes, bye. I'll probably wrap up soon here as well. So I mentioned that because B4 is going to be getting ready, because B4 will stream after me and talk about plugins. And his stream is called Pluggin' Along. So I am here now in the middle of the neighborhood, and we are in a Shire neighborhood. There's 4 different zones that you can buy a house in that are your standard or race-based housing, the initial housing, however you want to call it. So there's Hobbit housing, Race of Man, elves and dwarves. So this is a Shire neighborhood, and here I call it the middle of town, even though geographically it's not the middle, like that would be over here. But from a everything being in this area kind of perspective, this is kind of the middle of the town, right? So we have, there's like a little building where there's people inside you can go and talk to for various things. We've got Wenda Cranesbill over here, one of my favorite people. She's who you get a VIP rewards stuff from. So that's really super handy if you are a VIP. And I can explain that in further detail next time for those who are new, if they want to know more about that. But I also wanted to show you a really cool feature is you've got this far-ranging stable master here. And so you have access to getting to a lot of other places in the world quickly from your housing area. So maybe, you know, you haven't purchased any of the cooldowns, so all of your travel skills take an hour and you're like, man, you know, I'm over here and I'd really like to be over there. Well, if over there is somewhere you've been before, so you know it exists, like I can get to South Bree with Swift Travel for just 1 silver. So these all cost, I think, 1 silver. I think they're all 1 silver. I could get to the Breeland homesteads, which you'd think, well, that's, how is that useful? I already have a house. But you can use that to then get out to the Midwater Marshes. The Breeland Festival Grounds, which is just north of Bree, and there's a free travel horse from Bree, from the Festival Grounds back into Bree. The midsummer version of Minas Tirith, so after the war is done, that also exists, and you can get there for 1 silver. All of the Arid Lowlands, so Kellendim, Foulthorn homesteads, which I haven't found particularly useful, but Thorin's Gate, Thorin's Hall homesteads I generally don't use, but Thorin's Gate is useful, Kellendim is useful. But one that I actually use a lot, and I'm a hunter with travel skills all over the place, right? In the Shire, so I have a hunter travel skill to Mickle Delving already. Shire homesteads, I'm in it. I have a home here. I can get here with my, our kin houses here, so I don't use that. But the party tree Swift Travel is great because that sends you right to the party tree. And when there's stuff going on, the party tree is often involved. So, all right, so Pricey has a question. Says, I just started playing. Is crafting basically just used to get better gear and weapons? It's used for a number of different things. Absolutely, you are going to want to equip yourself with stuff that is made. Yes, I would say yes. For example, you will find that sometimes things that drop in the world are better than the stuff you can make, but most of the time the stuff you can make or have made is better than the stuff that will drop for you in the world. The other thing is depending on what server you're playing on, so, and how quickly you're going through the levels basically. So for example, I'm on Treebeard, so we get less experience, we go much slower. But if you're playing on like a Landreval or Evernight or, you know, whatever, you're getting your regular amount of experience, and you might find that you're leveling really quickly. At that point, I would probably just use drops, things that you get in the world, like when you're out questing. Look at these are the things that I picked up today while I was out questing, and you'll get armor that falls on the ground and you pick it up, like this greater resistance cloak of finesse. You know, it's got 2013 armor, it's got some will, vitality, finesse, critical. The one I'm wearing has 2085, it has some vitality, fate, critical. So the one I'm wearing is better, but that's because I've kind of added some stuff to it and whatnot. So, and I got that out of an instance. So in general, I would say crafted stuff is going to be better, but if you're leveling really fast, you don't need to focus on that. Another thing though that is kind of useful is in your crafting window. So that was C that I just, oh no, character is C. How did I bring it? Oh, T. I don't know, for crafting maybe.
Yes. C's already character.
Because C is already character. So crafting, so the T. And it has it lists out the 3 things that you can do. So in my case, I'm an explorer, so I can tailor, I am a forester, and I'm a prospector. I like to pick things up out in the world while I'm running around. I can pick up ore, and I can pick up wood. But you can only pick up things that you have leveled up to. So for example, apprentice level stuff is going to be stuff you find in the lower level stuff around the world. But like all the way up to like say Supreme, that's the stuff that we're picking up now. Like the Ilex boards, that's in Moria and Lothlorien and so on. I would not be able to pick up those Ilex boards if I have not completed through Master. You'll see there's 2 icons here. We've got 2 little anvils. The first one is getting you up to being just proficient, and then the second one is making you a master. You have to be through the first one, the proficient, in order to even pick up the next level stuff. So it's also important to make sure that you're working those in order to keep on top of stuff, because it's just heartbreaking if you get into a new area and you're like, you go to pick something up and it's like, you're not proficient at this, or you're not able to do that, and you're like, no, and then you got to run back and do a bunch of crafting. So you'll notice like my prospector I'm like way behind on smelting. I should do some of that at some point. But because I got through the proficiency on Master, I'm able to pick up Supreme level stuff. Now, when we get the next level, what's after Supreme? Westfold, maybe? When we get the next level, I will need to get my proficiency up in Supreme in order to pick up the stuff that's in that next area. So I will need to work on this at some point. But so just, yes. So it hopefully that answers your question. That also crafting gives your character experience. So if you are trying to get more experience on your character, like your character's level whatever, and you want it to be higher, just sitting there and farming, or sitting there and, hitting logs, will give your character experience. So that is helpful too. The Wire Lord asks, what's the theme that I use? And do I have a list of plugins that I use perchance? So let me go ahead and just put the plugins thing back out there again. So this is kind of a list of the plugins that a lot of people who stream on the stream team use. But so let's see, the ones I use, let me pull up my Lua again here, my plugin manager. Titan Bar is one of my favorites. That's this thing here up at the top. I love Titan Bar. Travel Window 2, that's my little thing here to keep track of a bunch of my travel skills. The Deed Tracker, I mentioned this one earlier. Love this one. I actually can't imagine playing without it anymore. I'm so used to it. Let's see, what else? What else is, I do use Alt Inventory. Some people prefer Kiki Inventory. They're both really good. I use Alt Inventory because it's the first one I tried, and then I tried Kiki Inventory and I was like, well, I'm used to Alt Inventory. I know how it works, so I like it better. But I think they're both equally good. It's just which you're more comfortable with. Songbook I use when I'm doing music stuff, along with what's the other one? I forget the thing. Lyrical. Yeah, Lyrical's nice too. Yeah, that's probably it. So Songbook helps you to be able to play music, and then I use Lyrical to like say the words, and so it's like I'm singing. So yeah. Let's see, what else? Festival Buddy we were just using. Festival Buddy is really useful during the festivals. That's a new one to me. Before it's just been playing with that and doing some updates on that. So that's why I started using it, and I really like the updates he's making to it. So I'm like, yeah, we'll use that. Buff Monitor is these little bars down here. And let's see. So if I eat, like here's well, let me see if I have any junk in my inventory here. Okay, so this is a fortifying foot now. Superior. Oh man, I'm trying to see if I have any foods that are. All right, I'm just gonna have to use a real food, I think. That's okay. I need to go stock up apparently. Okay, so like if I drink a cup of red tea, it's a trail food. Oops. So now do you see down here, this little blue bar just showed up for me down here at the bottom, and it's got a timer on it, and so that helps me keep track of do I have a trail food active right now or not, without having to go up and hover over the little icons and see how much time I have left and things like that. So that's really useful to me when we're adventuring. And because we are playing so much on level, having just those extra little bits really does make a difference sometimes. Like, I forgot to do my foods during an encounter recently, and it was something that was taking a long time. And so my power regeneration was really low. It was just like my base level, which is almost nothing. And so I was running out of the ability to do my skills because I didn't have any power, which rarely even happens. But power regeneration does happen if you use cooked foods and Bjarning's honey cakes. So that's another plugin that I find really useful. The need tracker I mentioned. You can see these are all plugins that I have downloaded at some point and added in here and played around with. Some of them I have turned off, like Lyrical, because I don't need it very often. But if it's because it looks, but it's just like this. It's just a little thing, and you just click through it and it says the words for you. So like, and then see how it went to the next line, and I do that and it goes back up to the top once it hits the bottom one. So that one's really useful when you're doing lyrics and stuff. But I don't need to have that like loaded when I log on. Opaque Quest Tracker is a really popular one. It's really good for like accessibility. It puts like a dark window behind your quest trackers stuff. So I don't find myself using it, but a lot of people like it. The One Bag, before has been playing with it and loves it. Prime Loot. Oh, okay. Switch to a different one. I gotcha. Waypoint, he really likes. I don't like it as much, but he loves it. So I think that's most of the plugins that I use. Oh, but you were asking about the UI also. I use JRR Skins. I wonder if that's if that's a thing. Yep, there we are. And I also use the dressing room. I'm gonna print that up in a second. But because if you go to UI settings, once you've downloaded it, one of the things I really like about JRR Skins is how it has a lot of options. Because basically, people were making skins all over the place, and then some of them weren't being supported, and so whoever, I can't remember who it is, but they basically took a whole bunch of things and put it together under one big download, which was fantastic. So I'm using the JRR JAPPME large for what I've got going on. But you'll see there's a huge list here, and there's stuff that's very dwarven, there's elfy stuff, there's hobbity stuff, there's like a 50 Shades of Grey wizard. It's just all very gray stuff, though. There's a Dragok version where it's like all dragony, and yeah, like there's a whole bunch of really cool options. Another thing I really like about the skins is that it shows up in other things. So like, the one I'm using is kind of an elfy one. So this is like, some spindly staircases up through some various areas. And you can see the trees. It's like a Lothlorien-y, actually maybe the other one, Elrond's dad. That place. Not Mirkwood. No, the other one. Where are the wood elves from?
Oh,
Yeah. Aaron Gaz
Lasglen or Felgoth.
Felgoth. There we go. So this looks maybe a little Felgoth kind of look.
Like
So, but I really like the green leafy thing going on there. The Hobbit ones have like a little door, which is super cute. But I really like the dark backgrounds that this skin gives me, so I like that better. And I saw there was a conversation about, y'all were still talking about the task or the crafting. And do you become master just by crafting things? Yes. I mean, you can eventually. Everything you do gives you some crafting experience. So like if I were to take 2 chunks of Khazad Skarn and turn it into a Khazad copper ingot, that's going to give me 8 crafting experience. I need 600 to fill this bar. So it gets you there over time. Yeah, I only need 75, yeah. So, and each crafting level, as before says, has the 2 anvils. So the first anvil unlocks the next level. The second anvil finishes off that level. So you see, like, I have apprentice, journeyman, like I have all those completed. We talked about UIs, and all right. So I think that is about it. So I am going to sign off here in a minute. Before we'll get started with his stream about plugins. I'll still be in the chat though, so if you still have questions about how to do something or anything, just like if you want to talk about anything Lotro related, I'm happy to talk about Lotro related stuff all the time. Like I said, we didn't even talk about housing yet. Although I did do like 2 housing streams that were just about housing because one wasn't enough, and those are out on my YouTube channel. So gosh, I think we might have that before. It's going to try and grab that link for you real quick. So any other, okay, awesome, thank you. There's my YouTube channel, so you can find the housing streams out there as well, and I cross post my streams from here out onto the YouTube channel also. Cross the streams, don't cross the streams. So they're here on Twitch, on the official Lotro channel, but then they're also out on my YouTube channels. You can leave comments and stuff there. If there's something that, you want to talk about, or, and it's great for asynchronous communication. So like, if you're watching this later and you're like, oh, that reminds me, I wanted to ask you about blah, 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 it's easy to do that there. Okay. Well, I think we are good here. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'll be back next week. I'm here every Tuesday, running around the world of Middle Earth and having a great time. So as always, I appreciate you all coming along with me, and thank you so much for that. So I will be back next week. We'll probably do instances and skirmishes or something like that. Get some legendary coins. Maybe give away a shirt. If I'm feeling good enough, remember to do that through the week to let people know that that's going to happen, then we will do that also. All right. Thank you all, and I will see you next week. And in the meantime, make sure to stay connected to that Hobbit side of your heart. Have a great time. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.